uncles, we've got aunties, we've got kids, we've got a whole range of different skill sets and backgrounds.
It's trying to build dreams and possibilities for individuals that haven't had the chance.
We're working with like amazing football clubs. We partnered with the FA, the ECB.
Hi, welcome to Changing Suits. My name's Bal.
And my name's Taj.
So as many of you will know, we are really hot on mental health and well-being. So in this week's podcast, we wanted to talk more about physical fitness and looking after yourself. So today we've got three amazing guests who are from the Sikh Games. We've got Mandeep, who's going to give us a bit of an introduction as to what the organisation's about, why she got involved.
Hi, and thank you so much for having us here. So the Sikh Games, it's actually a concept that I was aware of pretty much my whole life. I had a lot of family that lived out in Australia. They would often talk about the Sikh Games. They would, whenever you would ask them, hey, how's this person doing? They would say, we met them at the Sikh Games. And then you would call another time and they would say, how's this person doing?
Can I just say, I'm butting in really quickly, but I've just realised that totally makes sense, the Australia thing, because my father-in-law did the same thing when they just went recently.
Oh,
and
really?
That's just connected the dots. Yeah, it's amazing. Sorry, okay, you can carry on now about the Australian Sikh Games. Sorry, carry on.
And they would often talk about the Sikh Games. And you know what? I just always felt like we've been in this country for so long and we've never had anything which brings everyone together to a point where they have 150 to 200,000 people every year that turn up to the Sikh Games. They do them on a rotational basis and they go around their 6 major cities. Even when they do the Sikh Games in places like Sydney, all the hotels are booked out to a point where people have to basically hire caravans and drive to wherever the Sikh Games are happening. That's how busy they are. So yeah, a lot of it was really just like, FOMO, we don't have anything like this, let's create something like this. And then my background, alongside being a lawyer, was also in events. So I used to, and I still do, co-chair Vasaki London, and really just felt like, we were really missing something with the UK Sikh community. We either have religious events or we have like cultural events, but we never have something which actually manages to bring everybody together in one place. And yeah, April 2020, enter the Sikh Games UK.
Perfect. We've also got Mandy here and Taj, who are also involved in the organisation. So Mandy and Taj, what has got you interested in getting involved in getting the Sikh community together to get involved in such an important event and organisation?
So again, thanks for having us. This whole initiative is, being the first one in the UK. It's never happened in the UK before. It's happened, obviously, Australia. It's really taken off. It's fantastic. Getting the Sikh community to actually bind together. Yes, it's in competition, but getting each individual region together and actually working together to actually achieve, bring a medal home. It's that whole, let's just get everybody together, get all the different age groups. We've got uncles, we've got aunties, we've got kids, we've got a whole range of different skill sets and backgrounds in terms of domestic, and it's also encouraging female and male participants to actually come together. So it's for me, it's the fact that we're doing something to encourage our youngsters, our elderly, to get together and actually do something big on the same day in the same place with hundreds and thousands of other Sikh like-minded people from across the UK. It's you can't get any better than that. You're never going to get that anywhere else.
And you've just made a really good point as to getting females and males involved. Now, on this call today, we've also got Taj. Now, which sports do you tend to go for, Taj? Is it the powerlifting, the football, the rugby? What interests you in this sports game?
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having us. I love to do probably a bit of a hockey, but because I'm a regional lead, my duties are like really looking into the structure, getting my region up and ready, a lot of all the logistics behind it, getting up and running, and working and collaborating with other organisations, education departments, schools, children, institutions, gurdwara, and bringing everyone like all this different gurdwara from like East London and Essex, which is my region, together to work together. So doing that, I won't have a chance to do any sport. But if I can get my leg in somewhere, I will do.
And how are you rolling this out? So you're saying you're going to different Godfare businesses and stuff like that, but how are you actually rolling it out? Are you physically getting people signed on? How are you getting people's interest?
So yeah, I mean, because this is a new platform, it's the first time like it's ever been done at this scale. We're working with our regional leads, and we want to work on the same level, trying to reach out everybody the same way. Obviously, there's loads of do's and don'ts because we got to speak on the same level and work with each other. So it's fair on everybody, and we've got the same communication going with our athletes. So it's a new process. It has been hard, but the way I'm reaching out is obviously social media is one of the biggest platforms available to us, a powerful tool which we're using very well. When you share with a few friends, they'll share with someone else, so the message goes out. Personally, going out to like Gurdwara, Sikh temples, where a lot of Sangat come. For example, on a Sunday, you'd go there, you put up your banners, do a little roadshow, tell people about the sport, work with the committees, get people to sign on. Any questions asked, you talk to children, you talk to adults, and really, you really want to get them involved. And that's the way we've been doing it.
Mandy, who can get involved? Because you're saying that you want people to do a
Yeah.
sport, get the juices flowing, make sure they're learning a new skill. What are the age ranges that you're looking for, and what kind of sports are you offering as part of the Sikh Games?
Yeah, so the competition is 12 plus. So you can literally be, you could be retired, you could be walking, you can still, we went into so many towns. We went into Swindon just this weekend, and, we managed to sign on a women's walking hockey team, so there's no barrier when it comes to sport. We look at the stories, of our patron, for example, Fodja Singh, at what age was he, like, in his 80s when he started doing marathons. So actually, the whole kind of stop that we put on ourselves is really mental. But actually, it's no day is a bad day to get into sport. So we're really trying to work with as many people as possible to get them involved in the Sikh Games. And then, of course, even with the younger kids, there's so many things that are going to be happening at the Sikh Games. It's pretty much a sports festival. You're going to have so many activities there for the youngsters. We're working with like amazing football clubs. We partnered with like the FA, the ECB. Pretty much every single national sporting body in the UK we partnered with now. So it's how can we get them involved? How can we give them an opportunity to experience different sports, even though they are younger and they may not be able to compete. There is still something every single Sikh in the UK can do. There's disability sports like Sikhs disability Paralympic type sports. So there is literally a space for everybody.
And practically, how would you see this working? So, Mandy, if people have signed up, you're going around, and it sounds like the work that you guys are doing is great. I mean, it's not an easy feat. It sounds like you've got a lot of organizations involved. But one of the hard things, I don't know, I would imagine, is getting the Sikh community involved, making sure there's people that will take up those sports. How have you found the response from the community? Do they actually want to get involved? Do they want to get off the sofa and not watch EastEnders? I don't know if everyone still watches EastEnders. I don't know, but what is the response
from us? Just if I can go into the Swindon response that we've had just locally here, was actually it took off a lot better than what I thought. I thought that there would be a lot of hesitation and resistance from the older generation, but they got excited. There just seemed to be that day of the roadshow. There just seemed to be a load of energy, and all the older women, I know Mandy Benji just mentioned that we've set up a ladies walking, hockey walking activity for sort of over 50 plus. I've had a recent conversation this week with some men as well. So there's not only going to be a women's team, but there'll also be a men's team. So it's signing them up, but they just seem to have, because they know it's the first that it's happening and everybody's included, and there's no one that's kind of like that can't actually attend or can't join the program. There just seems to be that level of actually we want to do this because it's about our community. So I think that and the health factor as well. Actually, if it means that I've got to train because I've got to walk 10,000 steps a day just to get my rhythm up, well, yeah, we'll do it. We'll practice. We'll start walking. So the women are already having those conversations. What day are we going to get together for a walk? It's bringing them together on a weekday as well as as well as the actual competition itself.
So Taj, how is the prep, for example, for the football, hockey? You said the walking, but how are the other sports? How are you going to prepare people for them for the actual big day?
So some of the sports, obviously, that we have got, which are the competitive sports, are hockey, cricket, football, kabaddi, powerlifting, track, which is 100 meters, 200, 400, 8 meters. And the way we're going to be setting this up and going forward is obviously the locations where we train, the facilities that we get from them, either being with the Gurdwara or schools or any leisure centres that will provide the places for us to train. For example, football, we've got a ground in football where, if obviously we have to take in mind children and adults, they work, so it's got to be after working hours, school hours, so we'll do it in the evenings. We'll have a football session, for example, or on the weekend. And the way we structure it is we've got coaches that signed up, we've got ambassadors that signed up that help with the whole logistics of the sport and bringing it all together and building a team with the coaches and setting different levels. So, for example, you might have some children that are doing football for the first time and they want to, be part of the games. And then you've got kids that are already in school clubs or football clubs that are a bit of advanced players. So, starting off with training, the coach will obviously monitor how they play. And this is for every sport that, across the board. So the coach will see how they train, see what level they are, and maybe depending on how many people we got, it'd be set. For example, like it'd be a 5-a-side, 7-a-side, 11-a-side, and then it might be like a amateur group and maybe a more advanced group. Then obviously you got your males and females. So that's how the structure is done on that and with the training.
If I want to take up powerlifting, which obviously is the one sport I am planning to go towards, I've signed up. You're saying within my area, there'll be a coach that will be part of your list. Is that correct, Taj?
Yeah.
Okay. And what kind of help would that coach give me then?
So, for example, say whatever level you come in at, obviously you want to compete and you want to go into the games.
Obviously, I'm advanced, so we've got past that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the coach would stand there. You've got to train the coach.
Okay.
No. So the coaches are professionals or they've been trained or qualified coaches. They will help and guide you maybe with processes, guidance on how to lift and which methods to lift, if you're lifting wrong or right, building your endurance up, building your strength up. So that's what they work on, to work around you and then set you up. So then obviously you go away, you train with them. There might be videos available that they say to you to follow. And also the main thing is diet. So they guide you on your diet, what to eat, when to eat, because obviously we want the best out of all our athletes across the board. So they will be given total information out to get these athletes to that level.
So the actual Sikh Games, will they take over a couple of days that they're done, or is it just one day that the Sikh Games will happen? How does it work?
So the Sikh Games actually, so on the 3rd, we're looking to do the opening ceremony. That is something where we really kind of get all the athletes there.
The 3rd of
the 3rd of August.
3rd of August. I thought February was a bit too close. I was like, you guys are going to be on fire this month then. 3rd of August, okay.
3rd of August. So that's where we're looking, that's when we're looking to do the opening ceremony. And with the opening ceremony, you know, we're looking to get everybody involved, you know, we're talking to some singers, hush hush, can't say any names yet.
Okay,
you
so
know,
who are going to be the singers then, Mandy?
uh,
Oh, Taj
um,
is going to be
Taj
doing it,
is
so that's
I'm,
Taj,
I'm,
wonderful.
I'm gonna
Taj.
drop some lyrics. I'm gonna drop some lyrics.
Yeah, so we've got some singers, we've got, you know, the army involved doing some parachute jumps. There's going to be bands there. There's going to be Gatka displays.
Where is this going to be taking place?
We're speaking to a couple of places at the moment. We're just trying to finalize the plan. We've got the plan for where the location where the games are happening, but the opening ceremony, we're having some little tricky situations with that because we're trying to find a place which is going to be big enough to be able to cater for what the UK Sikh community because actually wants, you know, so like with each regional lead, like some of the regional leads have actually specifically asked to say, can we take 1,000 tickets each? Because we know that in our areas we will be able to get 1,000 people to come and be a part of the Sikh Games. And you know, you've got 35 different areas, so you know, can you like just imagine like, you know, what we're looking
Wow.
at in terms of numbers. You know, there's so many people that want to be a part of it. And you know, obviously we've got like media partnerships now. You know, we've been, you know, promoting the event on BBC, on like so many different platforms. So we've just had a lot of people that have an interest in just being there, just witnessing, you know, this historic moment where we, you know, do the UK's first ever Sikh Games. And of course, we want to do some really important things. We have all the regions coming in with their colours because all of these guys have like various colours that they've chosen for their regions. You know, coming in, you know, really just having a really profound moment, you know, for the UK Sikh community, something so amazing for them to celebrate. Um, you know, so that's kind of like where we're at with that. And then the fourth, the fifth, the sixth will be the actual Sikh Games. And at the Sikh Games, that's where you'll have all the competitions happening. So we start, you know, they'll probably start from about 9 o'clock in the morning. They go on to about 5, 6 o'clock every evening. On two of the days, on the Friday evening and the Saturday evening, we have some like evening sports, which we're looking to host, like Q Sports on the Friday night. On the Saturday night, we're looking to host like a boxing tournament. You know, it's not just about, obviously, like I said, it's not just about the competition sports. There's also going to be a lot of demonstration sports. But in addition to that, there are going to be a lot of, you know, we've got a main stage which we're looking to build, and there'll be a variety of discussions, conversations happening.
How were these particular sports decided? For example, the football, the kabaddi. Why
Yeah.
these particular sports? Should I say?
Don't worry, that happens all the time. So what actually happened was, so it's the first Sikh Games. You know, we're not saying we know everything. We're not saying we know this is exactly what the UK Sikh community want. But what we had to do is, so it was about 15, 16 of us, I think, at the time when we first set up, that came together like a core team, which now forms as part of our executive board. And, you know, we really had an assessment of what was happening in the UK. But bearing in mind, we hadn't at this point announced that we're going to be doing the Sikh Games. We were just looking to say, right, okay, there's definitely kabaddi competitions that happen. There's definitely football competitions that happen. We know that they love cricket. You know, we've had some really amazing stars who are now actually all ambassadors of the Sikh Games, the likes of Monty Panesar, Ravi Bopara, Amar Virdi. You know, they're all ambassadors for the Sikh Games. So, you know, we knew that some of these sports, there was that passion there. We knew powerlifting people could just do in the gym themselves. We knew, you know, people love running. So, you know, those kind of things were there. We also then went through and actually checked, because it wasn't just Australia that were doing the Sikh Games. We then, when we started doing some research, realised that the Sikh Games also started in 2019 in New Zealand. 2016, they started doing them in New Jersey, and 2020, they were doing them in India. So then we went through all of them. You know, some of them didn't have websites, so we were going on their Facebook pages, on their apps to work out what are the Sikh community doing. So accordingly, we did 6 sports. But again, like I said, we're not saying we know this is what the UK Sikh community want. But what it is we want to now know. Now that we've created this platform belongs to the entire Sikh community in the UK. It is for the UK Sikh community to now engage with us and tell us exactly what it is they do. So on the website, you don't only have a space for athlete registration and for volunteers and for coaches to apply, for officials to apply, but there's also a link for if you can't find the sport you play. So if you do boxing once a week, or you do netball, or you do Q sports, or you do esports, or you do chess, tell us what it is you do. Let's together build the Sikh Games reflective of what the UK Sikh community want. So now that we've created it, we're all ears. So we really want the community to interact and engage with the Sikh Games so that they can really develop as the years go on, because we really want to increase those competition sports, and we really want to get more sports added onto that. So yeah, it's over to the community now.
So yeah, that's a bit of responsibility for the Sikh community to start interacting, which is good. Mandy, Mandeep has mentioned a few very high-profile names there. Why is it important that we do have these high-profile people coming to the fore and promoting the Sikh Games? And why in the future do we need more youngsters, and not even youngsters, people of my age, getting involved in these sports and getting their names out there?
First of all, you should classify yourself as a youngster, because you
Oh,
are.
thank you. I was waiting for that, Mandy. Thank you very much. Wait for someone to say it. I've dropped a few hints throughout this whole podcast.
I mean, it is really important that we have these ambassadors on board, because for various reasons. First reason that I'd like to highlight is that by having them as an ambassador, somebody that has got the background, the skills, the knowledge, and and have worked at competition level, just builds that confidence in not just young children, but I mean, Mandeep Benji mentioned about Fodja. Now, Fodja has encouraged older members of our community to actually go out walking or slightly jogging. They wouldn't have done that if they didn't have an inspiration to kind of follow or look up to. The fact that he's done it is just given that encouragement.
I used to see Ford Jussing every day that I used to go to in the car to work, and I was like, oh my god, he's there again. At that time, I don't think he was that famous. Oh, there he is again. There he is again. I'm like, wow.
But the interesting thing about Fodja Singh is the fact that wherever he went by walking rather than jumping on a bus. And that is a really important point, because it's a case of it's everyday things that we can do for ourselves. And it's not because we have to wait till we're 80, because as we know, as we get older, it becomes harder and harder. Those joints start to creak. I mean, it's one of those things. It's something that we need to practically be doing now.
Yeah. And this is what the whole Sikh Games is encouraging as well, because it is not just about competitions. It's about your health. It's it's looking at your mental well-being. You getting out there, walking or getting that fresh air, or even if it is if you want to practice a bit of hockey or cricket, you're out there, you're in the fresh air. It's doing your mind a load of good. It's doing your health a load of good, because you're actually training, and it's making you fitter. So it fundamentally, it's really important that these the ambassadors do support us from that perspective, but also it encourages the youngsters to say, well, actually, do you know what, we're getting trained, or we're getting advice from somebody who is a professional that knows what they're doing. So the Sikh Games are actually investing in these people to actually support us and actually give us the correct guidance to succeed in what they want to achieve.
Again, on the nutritional side of things, again, going back to Fodja Singh, he always encourages simple eating. He would say, have dal with simple roti, and that's what he's always said. So you guys say that the coach will help with the nutritional side of things. How will they be doing that?
Yeah, so I'll take that one. This actually, like, kind of moving on from something that we were talking about earlier. There's actually, the Sikh Games have actually been sponsored by an app, which gives athletes access to almost a program for them that they can work from. So we've been given 2,000 like kind of logins for the Sikh Games. And when anyone kind of like signs up, they'll have access to a 12 to 16 week program. And within that program, so this is where, it all comes together, because, with the Sikh Games, what we really wanted to try and create is something which was a real collaborative approach. Because, like they say, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And actually, it was real good learning, because, there was our long-term vision we haven't even spoken about yet. But we spoke to Nav, and, he really kind of like challenged us. Nav was a sports scientist for Arsenal. And so they say it's great, you're bringing this initiative together, you're going to bring people together, everyone's going to be there watching them. But how are we going to create a pathway into success? How are we going to actually start getting our children into mainstream sport? And I was like, that's a really good question, Nav. I'm hoping you have the answer to it as well. And he really did, and it was all education. So actually, there's a whole performance program which we've been developing in the Sikh Games. So that performance is led by Nav Singh, who's a sports scientist for Arsenal. He sits on our executive, but he has a team, and his team has a sprint coach, a guy called Liam Mistry, the Indian speed coach. You can find him online as well. You've got Juggy Sidhu, the Indian body coach, who's the nutrition coach for the Sikh Games. You've got Sandeep Matharu, who is the strength and conditioning coach. And then you've got a powerlifting coach, Mani Tura, as well. Again, they're all on Instagram. Give them a follow, see what they're about, because all these people have come together, and we've now filmed over 600 videos with all these people that, when you sign up as an athlete, you will have access to all these amazing videos. So no matter where it is, like, we're trying our level best, right? Within each region, we're trying to encourage our local, like, sevadars, our regional leads, to go out there, connect with gurdwara, connect with gyms, connect with schools, connect with as many places as possible, find these coaches, because we also have to get these coaches signed up, right? But then at the same time, if you end up being in an area which is really, like, remote, you're in, we had one Benji that reached out to us yesterday. She's in Edinburgh. If she can't, let's say, manage to form a team that's going to come into the Sikh Games, if she signs up as an individual, she will still have access to a training platform which will give her what she needs, even from the comfort of our own home. Because let's face it, what we've just gone through the last couple of years, things like COVID, we need to ensure that sport is sustainable. We need to ensure that people still have a way to continue on with their sporting journey, particularly us as South Asians, who were, like, massively hit by it. Yeah.
So going on that point, if you are in an area where there isn't tons of people that sign up, does that mean that you can't go to the Sikh Games from the 4th to the 6th, or could you join another area?
Oh no, you can absolutely join. You can even compete, because that's why we've got the whole, like, we've got the individual sports as well, where sometimes you just don't have anyone near you. But what we've actually done is the whole split that we did according to the regions. Well, some areas they're regions, some areas they're towns, because obviously some areas, like, heavily populated, like Southall, we've done South or Hounslow, Hillingdon. We've done a split because obviously we need to make it fair to, those out in Swindon or, in other smaller areas as well. So actually with some areas we've joined regions together. So where we've done Wiltshire and Oxfordshire, that actually comes together. So we have already kind of tried our level best to make sure we've joined regions together to then try our best to make sure that they are able to form a team.
So now, what's the long-term plan? So the Sikh Games happen from the 4th to the 6th. What happens after that?
So at the moment, we are looking to do them every 2 years. In the year in between, we did what we did last year. So we did a camp. So we did a camp where it's really that educational side. We did a camp at St George's Park, home of England football, last year. So that went really, really well. But actually, if we talk a long-term vision plan, it was a really interesting conversation, actually, because the first person that I spoke to about Sikh Games was a guy called Nav. Now, he used to organise the Khalsa Aid cricket tournament every year, and I used to take a team from Shepherd's Bush to go and play at that cricket tournament. So I thought, this would be a good person to talk to. Spoke to him, and, the first thing he said was, brilliant, I'm with you. Whatever we need to do, let's make it happen. It's an amazing initiative. And, while we were on the phone, he was, like, on Google checking out the Australian ones and was, like, gobsmacked, because half the people didn't even, like, most people that we speak to have no idea about the Australian Sikh Games.
Mm.
So, he was, like, there on Google. And then the next thing he said to me was, he said, have you ever heard of the Maccabi Games? So I don't know if, I know two of you on the call do know exactly what the Maccabi Games are. But the Maccabi Games are essentially the Jewish Olympics. So the Jewish community have for the last 80 years been coming together on a worldwide scale. And playing their games. You know, teams going from England, from Europe, teams even going from places like India to go and play at the Maccabi games that take place in Israel every year. So he's like, well, Mandeep, if we're going to do this, why are we just going to limit it to the UK? Why not bring the worldwide Sikh community together? And at that point,
you're going to take over the world. There we are.
take over the world. And you know, at that point, my mind had like completely blown, and I was like, oh, wow. And you know, you think, you know, like every conversation you have, there's a reason why you have that conversation with that person. But honestly, you know, the minute he said that, and we were in lockdown, and at this point, we had no idea when things were going to open up. But, you know, we just said 10 years from today, we will host the world's first ever global Sikh Games. And, you know, we can't have 2 or 3 countries doing it. We've got to have more countries. Let's have 15 countries, we said. And actually, we are well on our way to do that. So in a couple of weeks, we'll be announcing a bit more information on when the world's first, well, the Canadian Sikh Games will be happening. You know, we're talking to, you know, South Africa, Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, France, Greece. There are so many countries that we're now speaking to see how can we actually help them also help like set up a similar infrastructure in their respective country, so that when it comes down to, you know, the Global Sikh Games in April 2030, we've all had a chance to, you know, settle our, you know, find out where we're doing, like what we're doing, work out how we're going to get our athletes involved, how we're going to get our athletes trained up domestically, you know, within our countries. So we're really well on our way to like bring the worldwide Sikh community together through the Sikh Games.
Quick question. The Sikh Games is obviously catered from 12 plus. What was the thought behind 12 plus? Because obviously, being a parent, one of the first things we think of is put our kids in every sport that's going, because at some point they will be an Olympic star. So, what's the thought process of 12 plus rather than going younger?
Exposure was one thing, because even in schools, their exposure is very limited. So I know, like with my nephews and nieces, you know, they per term they might be able to sign up to a sport. They have to like sit there at midnight to try and find them a sport that they can try out. And you know, you've got, when you come to places like the Sikh Games, you know, you're going to have boxing, wrestling, MMA, yoga, netball, squash, um, football, cricket, hockey, kabaddi, track power. There's so many sports, you know, not even forgetting the main sports, Sikh sports, Gataka, Shastra Vidya. There's so many sports that are going to be at the Sikh Games. And it's really about giving them the opportunities to try everything out, but also the education. So the education is where we really want to focus, making sure that those foundations are there, that they understand how they're going to go about doing that. So it's not saying, you know, we're not saying that, you know, there's going to be nothing happening for the younger kids. Like, this is actually the ones that really need to see what's happening. These are really the ones that we want to inspire. So, you know, all our mindset when it came to the opening ceremony was those younger audience members that watch people coming onto a pitch, players coming onto a pitch, them then visualizing themselves one day doing it in the Commonwealth Games, in the Olympics, at the Sikh Games even, you know. And it's really about giving them an opportunity to dream and just see all these different sports. So that's where, you know, we've got so many kind of like ideas. Obviously, we want to bring the worldwide Sikh community together. We want to bring the national Sikh community together. But on a local level, we want to bring the Sikh community together. And the whole idea about doing colours, then having regional leads that actually say to everybody in their community to say, right, you're not only going to be there to watch, you know, your favourite sport, you're going to go around and support everyone in your region. So when there is a Swindon and Wiltshire women's hockey team playing, you guys got to be there to support them. When there is, you know, 2 athletes you got from Wiltshire and Oxfordshire, let's say doing powerlifting, every single person that is in that audience that is from Wiltshire and Oxfordshire should be there supporting them, making the most amount of noise for them. Because what you're doing is, one, you're like giving the motivation to the athletes that are competing, but then at the same time, what you're doing is you're showing the younger generation these sports which they may have never ever experienced, they may have never ever seen, opening up their minds to all the opportunities that are out there. And obviously, this is the first year, so we've gone with 12 plus, but you never know. So the younger folk, when we go to the road shows, are very, very convincing. So you never know what happens in the future.
just in regards to the social aspect of this, now obviously our podcast is very much looking at the South Asian culture and how we as a community engage with each other and what's important to us. From the social aspect, why is it important, Taj, that people do get involved in the Sikh Games?
So it's very important that the community on a social level get involved, because what we're trying to do, we're trying to bring the love of sport into the Sikh community across the UK to inspire, like, for example, the new generation through sporting excellence, ensuring success in every field. We want them to be the best in every field so that we can find the next big British sporting star from the Sikh community, and they might rise from the Sikh Games. Um, so it's very important they come together, they support us on this, because without having individual athletes registering or getting together, it's only them that's going to make it happen. It's just not the work that we're putting into it, it's the work everyone puts in it to get everyone signed up and be part of the games. So basically, it's, social is, bringing the Sikhs into mainstream sport. Um, you know, is trying to build dreams and possibilities for individuals that haven't had the chance to be a part of a sports, or they go to, for example, a football club, but they never get scouted, so they miss out the opportunity. So this platform is for them, so they could be picked out. It could be a passion for them. It could be a dream. It could be a career route for them. So it's happening for them, and not just that. Everyone that we're speaking to, like, we're trying to get all the elders involved, grandparents involved. So it's a social impact locally within our areas, that everyone start mingling and talking to each other. Like Mandy said as well, going to parks or going for a jog. We're talking to aunties from different regions, and they're saying, what can we do? 60, 70-year-old mums, grandparents are saying, what can we do? So we said, look, why don't you make a hockey team with, 15, 20 of your Bibia, get together, make a hockey team. And, they don't have to run and whatnot. They take it easy and just play ball, sort of thing. So it's just making it fun for everybody, and, making things happen. So, it's keeping our community fit and healthy through sports. And, with that, it brings so much as a social impact. So it's a win-win for everybody if everyone joins us and makes it work.
Mandy, we had a really interesting conversation just before we started recording, in the fact that obviously your daughter has just won the Duke of Edinburgh Award, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, I mean, one thing as a parent, you want to push your kids to do being successful in whichever field they want to go to. And this obviously is a massive opportunity for children to see what's going on, as was previously explained. As a parent yourself, how do you see the future within the sports games, and for your kids, what do you want to see for them as part of their well-being?
So I mean, I've got three girls, and I do push them to go follow their heart to start off with. The girls haven't always been the most sportiest, but this initiative, and Mandy Benji came to the roadshow, so she met them, and my eldest daughter was like, actually, do you know what? Even if I'm not good at any of these sports, I want to have a go. It's giving the girls a chance, not just girls, boys as well, giving the children a chance to actually try a sport that they may never have even thought about. So it's, for me, it's the whole encouraging children to do something they haven't, encouraging them to do their best and obviously compete. But if they don't want to compete, they can still take part and have fun. So it's not all about the competition. It is about enjoying yourself, having fun, the social aspect. There's so many different. This whole initiative is growing arms and legs as days go on, because it's like, oh, actually, do you know what? Our children are now talking about this at school, and something that my daughter has done is she's been talking to some of her friends that are not from the Sikh background, and she's just like, oh, do you know what we're doing in our community? We're doing this, and and it's nice to hear a child get excited about initiative that is new. I feel proud of it and excited by it, the fact that we're doing it for the first time. But when you're hearing a child say it, it gives you a new lease of life, because you're thinking, actually, do you know what? If my kid's actually going for this, and I must be on the right path of doing something right. So it is important, I think, just to keep that encouragement going, and where to start first. Start with your children.
tell us firstly, practically, what are the steps for someone to get involved?
Yeah, so you go onto the website, and that's www.thesickgames.com, and you sign up as an athlete. Now remember, the athlete registration closes on the 31st of January, because after that, that's when we have to ascertain where are our coaches, how many teams are we making, what's happening, and then the training and all of that has to come after that. So that is why the 31st of January. So make sure you sign up to the Sikh Games. They're the first ones that are happening in history. Get logged in that history and be a part of them. So you got to sign up, and then also follow us on socials. That's where we're giving you all the updates. We've got the main page, which is a Sikh Games page, which we talk about kind of like everything that's happening, who we partnered with, which media organizations working with us, what sporting bodies working with us, who the global ambassadors are. But then we've also got regional pages, so the regional pages are really there to allow you to connect with your regional leads, find out from them what is happening. You're excited. You've just signed up for hockey. What can you be doing? Do we have enough people signed up for hockey? Do we need to get more people signed up? The community is actually becoming our voice. They're then going out and sharing what is needed in their area. So yeah, just connect.
I'd like to just say a quick thing before we finish up is throughout the people that we've been registering, I've seen like the girls are kind of 50-50. I've spoken to some children and some girls, and they're like, I'm not sure, maybe I'll do running, maybe I won't do running, maybe I'll do hockey, maybe I won't, I don't know. I just want to say, like, we really got to encourage our women, our girls, all the females have to be so much encouragement to come forward and not be shy, because they can be the missiles for the future for encouraging other girls to come forward. So we're really encouraging girls to come forward. Don't be shy. Don't worry about the levels. There's other girls around you, and we're trying to build teams so girls feel comfortable, with regional leads which are female, coaches which are female, and we're trying to make that happen. So it's very important we push that message out for them to sign up before the 31st.
Perfect. Thank you, Taj. And I think that's a really important point. 31st, girls, boys, everybody sign up. It's fantastic to hear that we've got the older generation signing up, because I know, number one, that my dad will definitely be signing up. We'll get him signed up to every single sport there.
Love it.
But good luck in your organisation. And we really do look forward to listening to what's next and basically the Sikh Olympics. So hopefully we get the front row seats as well. A bit of a wink there. And we'll come to Greece and any other country that you're having those conversations with as well, Mandy. Lovely. Thanks so much.
Brilliant.
That's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, changing_suits, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.